Why would you choose the DJI Pocket 3 over a gimbal with a smartphone or a compact camera? And why would you do the opposite? So many of you guys have asked me for this video, and these are the reasons why I think you would choose one over the other. And the first one is to do with image quality, because all these three setups will give you 4K, but there are some nuances here, okay? The Pocket 3 will give you an amazing looking image at 10-bit on a D-Log color space. Most phones up until a couple of years ago would do 8-bit, but the newer ones do 10-bit and even record on log color space. That's gonna give you an amazing looking image. So in that regard, I don't think there is a huge difference between the Pocket 2 and a smartphone, a newer smartphone. If you have most compact consumer cameras from Sony and Canon, they will still record on 8-bit. Now, there are two aspects to take into consideration here. One is that the Pocket 2 and your smartphone will rely heavily on computational photography, and you can notice this on the dynamic range. Whereas most compact cameras is mostly optical, they don't have what you would normally call computational photography. So on a 16, 20 or 24mm, you are gonna notice a big difference. When it comes to filming with longer lenses like 50, 75, 85mm or longer, that's where a compact camera shines over the Pocket 3 or a smartphone, because obviously you don't have those focal lengths, and it's not so much about computational photography, but having that really nice shallow depth of field. So it very much depends on the style and what it is that you do. This comes down to the elephant in the room, and it's to do with size, because the Pocket 3, it's literally tiny. A gimbal with the smartphone or a compact camera, it doesn't matter how small the gimbal is, it's always gonna be a lot larger. So in terms of convenience, the Pocket 3 is always gonna be a lot more convenient. And in terms of setup, well, with the DJI Pocket 3, there is no setup time. You literally flick the screen, and within a matter of a couple of seconds, you are ready to film. With a gimbal and a smartphone or a compact camera, there is a setup required. So you might need 2, 3, 4 minutes, depending on how quick or how experienced you are balancing a gimbal. And for many people, this is the main reason why you would get a Pocket 3 over a gimbal with a smartphone and a compact camera. The Pocket 3 is so small that a lot of the times you find yourself reining in that energy and having to self-control how it is that you operate it, because it's so small. Whereas with a gimbal and a smartphone or a compact camera, it's a heavier payload, so the stabilization tends to be a little bit better. That doesn't mean that the DJI Pocket 2 has bad stabilization, because that's not the case. You have really good stabilization. It's just that some people will find that the heavier payload will give them more stable footage. Some other people will find that the Pocket 3 will give you the best image quality. When it comes to tracking, this is something that the DJI Pocket 3 does natively, whether it's filming forward or in selfie mode. So in that regard, the Pocket 3 does, and it does it really well. When it comes to a gimbal and a smartphone, you very much rely on the quality of the app that comes with the gimbal and how good the tracking is. Or you can get yourself a Hohem gimbal, either the M6 or the MT2, that comes with an AI tracker that will give you really good and reliable tracking. And the same applies to the compact cameras. Most gimbals for compact cameras don't have any type of tracking, and only the Hohem gimbals and now the new Feiyutech gimbals give you AI tracking. So you have options for all three setups. Now obviously the Pocket 3 is a lot smaller and much more convenient than a gimbal and a smartphone or a compact camera, but it all depends on what you do, when you do it, and who you do it with. And this is where the lenses and accessories come into play, because if you're gonna be filming with other people, or you're gonna be doing any type of work for a client, whether it's professional or semi-professional, the DJI Pocket 3 might not be the best looking setup to arrive to a client or to work with other people. Whereas if you have a gimbal with a compact camera and possibly interchangeable lenses, that's always gonna look a lot more professional than if you rock up with a DJI Pocket 2. And the same applies to a gimbal and a smartphone. You can attach a wide angle lens, film with a standard wide, and use telephoto lenses. You can use filters. But if you're gonna be doing your thing on your own and you don't need tight focal lengths, and most of what you're gonna be doing is vlogging or fairly wide shots, the Pocket 3 is it's a no-brainer. It's so tiny, and the image quality that you're gonna get is phenomenal. A smartphone will give you a bridge in between the Pocket 3 and a compact camera. It gives you a wide range of accessories, and maybe this is something that you already own, because this is a factor that you also need to take into account. The Pocket 3 is a brand new setup. You need to invest not just on the camera, but potentially the creators combo and accessories. Whereas you may already own a smartphone, so a gimbal is gonna be around $150, $180, $200, maybe $300. The Pocket 3 is gonna be anywhere between $600 to $1,000 when you take everything into consideration. So that's one aspect that you need to consider, is how much equipment you already have and whether you can justify the financial investment that comes when you buy the DJI Pocket 3. One of the biggest improvements of the Pocket 3 over the Pocket 2, which also happens to be one of the biggest selling points, is the 2-inch screen. And this is a really nice upgrade. Now, when you have a gimbal and a smartphone, you're gonna get the 6 or 7 inch or however big your smartphone is. So obviously the screen is always gonna be bigger. And when you have a compact camera, they tend to be anywhere between 2 to 5 inches. So you are also gonna get a larger screen on a compact camera. On a gimbal and a smartphone, if you do vlogging and you want to get the best image quality out of your smartphone, you want to use the rear lenses. And that means that you cannot see what it is that you're doing. And there are some ways that if you use an iPhone, you can get a screen preview on an Apple Watch, and you could literally attach a monitor and get a feed from the smartphone, but it just becomes too cumbersome. Whereas with the Pocket 3, you literally have it there on the 2-inch screen. So in my opinion, that's a big advantage of the Pocket 3. And something similar applies to a compact camera with a gimbal. So most compact cameras these days have flip-out screens that are rotating, so you can use that screen whether you're filming traditionally forward or whether you're doing vlogging. So in that regard, when you do traditional filming, there is not really a massive advantage of the compact camera over the smartphone in terms of the actual screen. Now, when it comes to vlogging, yes, you can rotate the screen so you can actually see what it is that you're doing, but it comes down to weight and how much heavier it is to vlog with a gimbal and a compact camera compared to the DJI Pocket 3 that is absolutely tiny. And also the DJI Pocket 3 has now a 1-inch sensor, and that means that you get really nice footage when you vlog that gives you a little bit of shallow depth of field. Now, with a smartphone, you can choose to do this, or if you film with an ultra wide, generally there is not much shallow depth of field and everything is in focus. So that is something that is aesthetic and is down to you and your personal taste. The DJI Pocket 3 has an integrated DJI wireless microphone. You have to do nothing, you turn it on and it links automatically to the Pocket 3. And the moment you press record, you can set it to record both on camera and also on the transmitter at 32-bit audio signal, which is insane. That's gonna give you the absolute best audio quality that you could possibly get. And you're not limited to the DJI wireless microphone. You can use any USB-C type microphone, whether it is wired or wireless. So you have that option. When it comes to a gimbal and a smartphone, audio can be a bit of a pain, and it all depends on the type of gimbal that you have. Because if you mount the gimbal upright and you try to put a microphone or a wireless receiver to record audio onto your smartphone, the phone might stick out too much and you might get into balancing issues, especially if you use additional accessories like lenses and filters. With a compact camera, it's pretty much the same, although it's at a different level. You need to attach a wireless receiver, and that means that you need to find a place somewhere in the gimbal so that that doesn't affect the balancing. The Pocket 3 is limited to a 20mm lens. That's it. That's as long focal length as you're gonna have. And you could digitally zoom in up to 35 or 40%, but your image starts to suffer. So in my opinion, you want to keep it at 20mm. Now that's a very limited range when you compare it to what a gimbal with a smartphone or a compact camera will give you, because most smartphones these days will give you a range of 3 lenses, an ultra wide, a wide and a telephoto lens. And if you use a compact camera and you are able to put interchangeable lenses, obviously you have a much wider range of field of views, all the way up to 85mm. And when you pair that with a gimbal, you can get some really amazing looking footage that you are not gonna be able to do with the Pocket 3. A compact camera is always gonna give you a better looking image, or a much pleasant to look at, because you get a shallow depth of field. Now, if most of what you do is using wider focal lens like a 20mm and a 16mm, the Pocket 3 is gonna be perfect for you. And not only that, but you pull out a gimbal with a smartphone, people will know what you're doing. Let alone if you pull a gimbal with a compact camera and interchangeable lenses, people will know that you are there filming. With the DJI Pocket 3, you can pretty much go anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Nobody's gonna ask you to stop. And if you are shy or a little bit apprehensive at filming in public, whether it's stand-up filming or vlogging, the Pocket 3 is perfect for you because most people won't even realize that you're filming. This is an area where the Pocket 3 has a clear advantage over pretty much anything out there in the market, because you just need to flick the screen down and you are in vertical, the camera crops down to 3K, and that's it. Within a matter of a second or two, you are filming vertical content. Whereas on a gimbal with a smartphone or a compact camera, you need to either move the mount or reposition the mount or remove the whole mount altogether and then fit it vertically as you need to do with a compact camera. And that's gonna be minutes sometimes in setup. And that might put some people off from filming on vertical altogether. One of the really cool things that you get with the DJI Pocket 3 is the fact that you can control both the gimbal and the camera remotely using the Mimo app. And yes, with the smartphones, a lot of the times you get an app that can control both the camera and the gimbal, but a lot of the times it's limited in functionality, in resolution. There is always something that is lacking. This is the type of functionality that is very special and unique of the Pocket 3. And a lot of the times it's gonna be the difference between getting the shot right or not, because if you feel that the 2-inch screen is not big enough, you can link wirelessly to the Pocket 3 and then you can use your smartphone at 6 or 7-inch to actually preview what it is that you're doing. This level of functionality, you're never gonna get it when you have a gimbal and a compact camera, because it just cannot happen, because you're gonna have a separate app for the camera and a separate app for the gimbal. This is an area that a lot of the times is overlooked, but believe me, this is really, really important when you want to get the perfect shot and you cannot afford to get it wrong. That additional screen size of your phone is gonna be a big plus. I don't think there is one that is better than the other. The Pocket 3 is an amazing vlogging camera. This is what this camera is designed for. This is the target audience. So if you do any type of solo content creation and you wanna have something quick and fast to set up, the Pocket 3 is unbeatable. I mean, you literally pull it out of your pocket and you're filming within a couple of seconds. That's something that you are never gonna be able to do with a gimbal and a smartphone, or a gimbal and a compact camera. Now, you may already own a smartphone and accessories. You might like the footage that you get out of your smartphone. I mean, if you are on the new iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, the Apple log footage that you get out of those phones is absolutely insane. That might be a look that you like. So obviously the Pocket 3 is gonna give you a very different look. If you are the kind of person that likes to work with interchangeable lenses and you like that look of much more professional cameras, the Pocket 3 may not give you that look. And if you have a compact camera and a gimbal already and you're thinking whether the Pocket 3 is a good investment, well, if you're gonna do what the Pocket 3 is intended for, which is vlogging and solo content creation, and you want to do something that is quick and lightweight and you don't want to be lumping heavy equipment, the Pocket 3 is going to be an amazing value for money. You just need to decide what it is that you do and whether it's worth it to invest in the Pocket 3 or stick to what you already have. And I hope you enjoyed this video, got something positive out of it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It's really nice to see the numbers going up, and I'll see you in the next one.